I'm Shireen.
I'm Abby, and welcome to the Realistic Backpackers podcast.
We met while travelling Southeast Asia, and now she can't get rid of me.
For years, we've made travel our entire personality, and now it's time to share it with you too.
So join us as we bring you into our world while keeping it as realistic as possible.
This is your weekly dose of travel tips and tricks.
And this week, we're going to be talking about digital nomad life, working online, what that means, how to do it, all of that good stuff.
Please like and subscribe and share us on your socials.
Let's get into it. Hello, how are you?
I'm sick, but I'm pretending
clearly.
I'm not. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good today. I'm having a good day today, which is great.
We love having a good day.
We do love
I'm
having a
proud
good
of
day
you.
today. Thank you. So obviously we recorded last week, and I think when we recorded last week, I don't know if I said it in the podcast or if we were just talking about it, but I think I said it in the podcast that I was having like an aversion to surfing.
Yeah, sorry, can we talk about this? Because I saw you surfing.
Yeah. So we're back in the water. We're officially a surfer girl again, and we've been surfing every day.
I was going to say, I literally saw you surfing.
Yeah, literally. And if you are watching this on YouTube, you will see the colour of me because look at this. We're like nearly reaching Egypt levels of tan, so we're very happy about it. So yeah, anyway, back surfing and loving life again, and obviously kicking myself that I took over 2 weeks to get back onto a board, you know?
But also, to be fair to yourself, you had bigger fish to fry, you know? There was a lot going on in the background, so, like, if you wanted to take a break, that's okay.
No, that is true. Like, of course, that is true. But, like, I would argue that this week has been one of the worst weeks since the war started, given, you know, Trump and everything he said.
Yeah. Really?
Which obviously I have no idea when this will come out, so it's probably a month old at this point. But going surfing has like definitely, you know, put me into actually being able to cope with what's going on in the world versus having a breakdown and a panic attack. I don't say that lightly. I genuinely mean panic attack. So yeah, I feel like it's been great and it's exactly what I needed, and can't get me out of the water now. Basically.
Good. Love that for you. Loving this journey.
Tomorrow I'm going on like a surfing boat trip, so.
Oh, cute. Who are you?
I know. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So, yeah, she's a surfer again, guys. In case you were worried, she is fully a surfer again.
Wonderful.
I also messaged Abby during the week. Basically, in Shargow, one of the places that you like go watch sunset, but you don't actually see the sunset because of where it is, but because the way Shargow is like based, but everywhere goes for sunset is this. It's basically a strip of road, but they close it off and everybody surf skates up and down it. And honestly, it's such a vibe. The sun goes down, you get the colours in the sky, everybody's surf skating, it's so much fun. Anyway, I've told Abby now that I'm going to buy a surf skate and learn how to do it around Clapham Common this summer. So if you see me falling on my ass around Clapham Common, mind your business.
Can't wait to see it myself.
Oh, I just get so obsessed with things.
Yeah, it's okay. Hyperfixations, we love them.
Yeah. What? Which undiagnosed thing is that?
Autism.
Okay, great. So probably that then. But anyways, that's me in surfing and surf skating. So can't wait. How have you been? How's your week going?
What did I do this week? Spent the weekend in London. One of my best pals flew in from Hong Kong, so I caught up with her. One of my other best pals flew in from Australia, so I caught up
Amy's
with
back.
her. Yeah, so nice. It was so good to see her. And then there was a 5-hour drive home.
Not
but
ideal.
it's fine. But yeah, I had a great weekend in London, seeing mates and my sis and my auntie and uncle. Helped my pal move flats and helped her build a bed. All the good stuff.
Of course.
I signed a new client up there though, so I actually went and met her in person, which was cute.
Oh, fun.
My car failed its MOT, but we all knew that was going to happen. So I've been driving my parents' car and someone crashed into that yesterday.
I literally can't believe that happened. Like, was that your first day driving it?
Literally, I just got in the car. I'd literally driven to the gym and somebody reversed into me.
Were you parked when someone burst into you?
Yeah.
Were you in the car?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. It's
You know
actually
when
just
it's like
ridiculous.
happening and then everything goes into slow motion and you just don't know
Yeah.
what to do? Because I could like see it happening and I was like, ugh.
That's actually ridiculous.
So funny. But anyway, it's fine. I just need to get that fixed now as well.
Oh my god.
Um,
But obviously it's their fault, so it's their insurance, right? It's not gonna cost you
yeah,
anything.
yeah. It's fine.
It's more of a
And
hassle.
bless
Are
him,
you
he
able to
was.
drive the car? Like, is there no car in the
Oh
chat
yeah,
next till
yeah.
now?
It just needs a new door. It just needs a new door.
Oh,
It's fine.
fine.
It's not drama. And bless him, he was like well stressed. But obviously, you know what I'm like. I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry. Like,
Don't
just give me
worry,
your
it's all fine.
details. We'll get it sorted. He was just looking at me like, what?
Who is? Yeah, I mean, of all the people to crash into, I feel like you're a pretty good one, you know?
Yeah. I like voice noted one of the girls and like they just replied like, huh? Why are you so chill about this?
But I mean, also, like, what can you do? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's
In
one
the
of those
grand scheme of
situations.
life, there's bigger fish to fry, you know? Like, it's going to
Exactly.
get fixed. It's all good.
And like, nobody got hurt, thank God. And it'll be
Yeah.
fixed.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. That's my week. And I'm just booking all my stuff for going to America.
Because your Esther got approved,
Yay.
which very surprising.
My Esther got approved, France. Because I deleted all evidence of this podcast off my socials. Lol. But yeah, which is exciting. I mean, not that I particularly want to go. Well, I would like to go and see the locations. I don't want to be in the US.
Yeah, which is very fair.
I'm excited. It'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to go back to San Fran.
Yeah, it'd be great to
Yeah,
like
it's
also see the
me.
people that are there and stuff as well.
Yeah. Although I've actually got no one left in San Francisco now.
Oh,
The last person left and moved to London last week.
well, it'll just be nice to see it again.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be like at the border though.
Yeah, me too. And I'm also really intrigued to see what San Francisco's like as a city because I've heard like the homelessness problem has got so much worse since COVID. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see. And obviously because like people have been working online and stuff, like Silicon Valley like emptied, so people didn't have to live in San Francisco anymore. So I feel like it just is going to be quite different.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it's like.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, sorry for anyone who doesn't know who I am. I lived in San Francisco for a year. And I haven't been back since, and that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, you were there for uni, right?
Yes, yeah, for a year. I studied there for a year. So yeah.
And then you got cut short because of COVID.
Got cut short because of gaming. Had to pack up my whole life and move back in 12 hours. Was high. Woohoo!
Very Abby Chapman of you.
Anything else you want to tell me about, hon?
No, I think I'm good. I think I'm good for now. Let's get into this week's topic, which is going to be kind of just like all about like working online, digital nomad, traveling and working, that whole kind of topic as a whole. Because obviously, if you've been listening to the season, Abby burns her whole life to the ground and has restarted as a freelance social media manager again. Obviously, I've done it. And I'm also currently in like a co-working space where I'm like having a lot of these conversations. So just thought it'd be helpful to share some good information and kind of our thoughts on it. So you are like you're quite far along now, but as we know, like in October, you finished up working in your job and started working online again. And like, I guess the biggest thing that obviously everybody's always like, how did you go about like doing that? Like, what have you actually done to like start making money online again when obviously you weren't before?
I feel like there's different ways you can do it, but the way I chose to do it was like set up just an Instagram and just like cold outreach to people. I mean, I feel like there's people say whether this is like a good or a bad thing, but like you can pick a niche in like exactly who you want to work for, and then that kind of narrows down who you want to speak to, or like who you want to outreach to, and then also that kind of helps with the kind of stuff you're posting on social media, to kind of target them. Or you don't have to if you don't want to, and especially at the beginning, you might not necessarily know. I feel like it did take me a hot minute to kind of figure out actually what I wanted to focus on. And then
And sorry,
honestly, it's
just if
cold.
we backtrack even more, what did you actually do?
I'm a social media manager. Yeah, man, I'm a social media manager. And like these days, you can have like a website and stuff if you want. I feel like it is good to have some kind of portfolio thing going, and also with like previous work. And if you don't have any, like you can kind of make up some mock-ups of like the things you would do for potential clients. Yeah, it's just about outreach, to be honest. Like obviously, as you like are posting on social media more, you'll get like hopefully more people reaching out to you as long as you're doing it well. But yeah, it's just kind of cold outreach. So like reaching out in DMs to people that you would like potentially consider working with. And yeah, I've had a few clients from that way. I've had a few clients from like people outreaching to me. So yeah, that's kind of how it's grown. Yeah, and I don't necessarily know if this is like social media management's like end game for me, but it's just something that I knew how to do and knew I could do well. So that's kind of what I've started with, because I just needed to start so I could actually stop doing what I was doing before. And then yeah, I feel like you can just figure it out as you go, like past that point. As long as you like back yourself as to like the services you're offering, you will get somewhere. I feel like confidence is key and fake it till you make it and all of that kind of stuff. But then and then yeah, if you want to kind of change the tune as you go, you can change the tune as you go. Because I mean, you did that, Shireen.
I've been telling people that I'm waiting for divine inspiration because I really like. So sorry, okay, again for context, anybody doesn't know. So I started working online like 3 years ago, and basically started doing like virtual assistant, like pretty much like basic virtual assistant. Then I moved in and started doing like social media and podcast management. And I still do social media like to a degree today. But now I also do like business coaching, so helping people like go from zero to like having businesses up and running, making money while they travel, all that good stuff. And then also, was there anything else? Because people keep asking me in my co-working space what I do, and I'm like, I don't really know.
I
But
think that's
basically,
it right now.
yeah, I think that is right now. A little bit of content creation, but not a huge amount. And I think the whole thing of like you don't need to actually know exactly what you're going to do long term is like such a good point, because I think especially if we're looking at this from like a travel perspective, right, that your goal is to like work and travel. I think at least initially, if there's nothing that you're like super passionate about, like, or have a really strong background in, then it's very much so about just finding something that you somewhat enjoy doing
Yeah.
and like, you know, can make money off at least at the beginning, because then once you're up and running and making money, you then have the freedom, one, to travel because obviously you're making money, but also then to spend a little bit more deciding what the thing you really want to do is. And like, I think naturally, I mean, I don't know anybody that started working online that hasn't gone through like so many different phases of working online, because
Yeah.
as like, because not only as they start working, but like also as they start like seeing other things that are out there, or like people will generally start being quite general. So for example, I think like me as an example, like starting out as a virtual assistant, which is very much so like a general role, and then be like, no, then you'll like actually be like, oh no, I really like this specific thing, like, or I want to help businesses do this specific thing. And then like kind of specialize down that road or whatever. So I feel like there's definitely like a lot of change will generally happen.
Yeah, and I think like the other thing is as well is like it depends what you want out of it, whether you pick something that you like but it's kind of like a one-off project that you do for like a couple of months and then have to find something else, or whether like you're looking for retainer clients that you know, okay, I only have to get X number and then I'm earning enough to like live the life I want and carry on. And I have like friends that have taken both angles. Definitely one is like in my opinion more stressful than the other, which is why I've chosen the other. But like there are different ways to do it.
Which one do you
Retainer.
think
I
is
like
less
retainer.
stressful? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So for anybody who doesn't know what that means, what does that mean?
Basically, like once they've signed up, you've kind of got them on like a rolling contract. So unless like something happens and like you decide you don't want to work with them anymore, or vice versa, that's like continuous until that point happens. Whereas like if it's like a one-off project, you might sign them for like a month or a couple of months. So like I've got a few friends that work in like branding, so they'll do like a branding project with you. They'll do your branding, and that will happen for like a few months, and then once that's done, like they've got their branding right, so then you have to then go and find another client. And it might be that like that project is quite big, but once it's done, and then you need to find that next client. And the same with, I've got mates that are photographers, so it's the same thing. Like they have that job, but once that job is done, then they've got to then find something else. And for me, that's like quite a stressful way to work. And for me, like I have friends that have like missed holidays and missed whatever because they're like nervous that if they don't do that one job, then they're not going to be able to get the next one. But whereas like with a retainer client, once you've got them, like obviously like the way I do it is I work like 3 months with them first to actually make sure we both like each other. But then after those 3 months, then it becomes rolling. And then it's like, okay, like I've got this client. This is like a guaranteed income every month for me.
Yeah, I would agree. And obviously, like there's certain industries or certain things that you can be doing that like retainer clients isn't a thing. So like obviously the examples that you gave, you can't have retainer photography clients really. Like unless you're working for a brand, but like you know, if you're a wedding photographer, it's not on a retainer because people generally only get married once. And the same with branding, like generally businesses are only going to need that once. But even but even within, for example, if we are talking about like the social media management space, like you have like you can have projects, for example, like a launch. If a brand is launching a new product or whatever, they might take you on for the 6-month launch project, and then they're kind of done with you then. And then
or a strategy, initial strategy.
Exactly, like anything like that, where that is a lot more like project based rather than like ongoing management. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, the other thing I was going to say is that obviously both myself and Abby's expertise are in like very much like in like the social media management space, but I actually voice noted Abby this week because I knew we were going to be doing this episode, and I was saying that so I'm currently working in a co-working space in Shargow at the moment, and obviously there's like loads of other nomads around me, and I haven't met like there's like none of them work in social media. Which I find really interesting because most of the people that I know that are nomads work in the social media space.
Yeah.
Like I obviously know that,
and that just
shows.
Businesses. Sorry, I was just going to say that just shows like what you see online is kind of what you create, right? Like we have created this world online for ourselves where that's just what we see. So obviously that's what we assume is the case.
Completely. And I think the other part of that as well is that like in general, like people that work in like social media, virtual assistants, they're on social media a lot. So it's very easy to assume that those are the other one being like travel creator or any sort of like content creators. They're people that are on social media all the time. So therefore they're posting on social media all the time. So it can get really, really easy to like get it into your head that those are the only ways to kind of work and travel or just work online in general if you don't want to travel with it. But like so some of like the people that are here are doing jobs that like I don't like, so honestly some of them like I don't understand, but there's like I feel like some of the other really common ones that you definitely don't see are things like software developers. Like software developers are huge. Business intelligence, and again this guy, he runs a business BI agency out of the Netherlands, and he was like explaining it to me, and you're just like, yeah, great. There's a couple of accountants, not digital nomad accountants, by the way, which is annoying. Also, if there's any accountants listening to this that want to start an online business, I highly recommend becoming a digital nomad accountant because there is none of you. I need one. And so do a lot of digital nomads because I know it's difficult because you're dealing with so many borders. But if you're an accountant and you want to go work online, look at digital nomad accountancy and then come and message me. But anyway, what else? I'm trying to think what else. Like, I mean, there's cool people doing like as I call it, real marketing.
Real marketing. What's real marketing?
Like, as in, like, what, like, you used to do with, like, you know,
Oh, right,
like,
okay.
marketing campaigns, all that kind of stuff, versus, like, social media marketing. Like, traditional marketing, maybe I should say, more than real marketing, but, like, what's real marketing? Yeah, so I feel like there is, like, so many other things, and I think now, more than ever, there's a space for pretty much every skill to be made online. Like, okay, maybe not if you're a surgeon, but you know what I mean. For, like, a
We could
lot of
try.
skills, we could try. But, like, for, like, a lot of skills, like, out there now that, you know, pre-pandemic, you had to go to the office. Now it's just not a thing. Another huge one at the moment is sales closers. There's fucking sales closers everywhere in the Nomad world at the moment. But yeah, so, like, I feel like anything that you have, like, any skill set that you have, like, there is now a potential. There's definitely somebody out there that has figured out how to do it online. So you don't need to go down the social media management route. You don't need to go down the creator route to work online and travel. Even though that's what the online world probably makes you be.
Do you know he's gone remote due to us?
Who?
That texted me the other day. Wes?
Who's Wes? Oh my god!
But, yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. Wes is just a guy we met in where did we meet him?
Germany.
Guys, look, I'm just gonna say it now. If you can hear the fan, I don't care. I'm sweating. No. These rooms there's not one bit of ventilation in them. They're literally like freaking saunas.
Well, I can't see sweat yet, so you're doing okay.
Okay, well, I can feel it. Let me tell you. Wes? Oh yeah. So what does he do?
Something financy. Like, I don't really know.
Oh yeah,
but something financy.
Fair. So yeah.
But he's now able to work remote. He has to work on a US time zone for the time being, so he can't, like, go far.
Yeah, but he could just Central America.
Exactly, he could go down, and he's also trying to figure out how to change that too.
Nice, that's sick.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay,
yeah,
so
because
on
I met another.
No, go on.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I met another guy when I was in Europe at the end of last year, and he said that. So he was doing that. He was working US time zone, but from Europe. So obviously it shift. I think because my sister's boyfriend does it as well. I think he works like 1 to 8 p.m. or something, and that's his, like, work day. So it is kind of possible depending on where you are. Like, I wouldn't really recommend it from, like, maybe Australia or Asia, but you definitely could get away with it in Europe.
Well, that was okay. So that was kind of going to be my next point.
Oh, okay.
Is time zones working, and I guess like is the big kind of usually sticking point here is whether or not you get a remote job or you freelance remotely, because, like, generally, well, I mean, I guess there's lots of obviously difference, but one is obviously like you work for a company and you work for that company. Okay, this episode is annoying me. So one would be that you work for a company remotely, completely remotely. And then the other one being that obviously freelance. So, like, what we do is just where you would have, rather than having one employer, you have, like, multiple clients, and you kind of work with them that way. I mean, there's pros and cons for both, of course, but in my opinion, if you want to work and travel, I don't see many pros of working for a company. That's my honest opinion. And the reason for that is that, one, like, you know, yes, obviously there's, like, remote part-time jobs, but, like, in general, they're a lot more full-time or, like, fuller time. Which obviously means if you're trying to work and travel, like, that's pretty bleak. If you wanted to, like, relocate somewhere potentially, then yeah, maybe not so much. But if you're, like, kind of the traveling part is important, I would say, like, that's one thing. And then the other thing as well, when you work for a company in general, again, I know there are differences, but in general, for, like, even if you do a job that's not time dependent, like software development is a really good example, right? So, like, you're working on projects, so you don't have to be online at certain times. It's not like you're talking to customers or anything. However, you're still gonna have, like, you do still have to, and this is, like, the guys that are here, like, you still have to, like, interact with your team. have team meetings, all of those kind of things. And those things are obviously going to be on the time zone of wherever your company is based. So that when you're traveling or nomading in general can obviously start to become really difficult. Like if you're, say, Irish or English in Southeast Asia, you're talking about between 6 and 8 hours, depending on the time of the year and where you are. And like obviously that means that like I, for example, I'm always done working when it's like barely midday back home, probably only like 11 a.m. back home. And obviously if you're working for a company, that's going to completely shift. So you do end up just working a lot later and like into the night. Some people don't mind that. I would personally hate it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, but we're early risers, not late bedtimers, you know.
No, we're not. No, but still, yeah, I just would not. I would not be a fan. And then I think the other thing as well is that like with working for a company versus going freelance. And again, like it's not all freelance jobs because, for example, if you were a sales closer or there's like certain things that you could be doing, like admin within businesses that like need to be done at certain times. But again, in general, a lot of freelance jobs are a lot more flexible. So, like for example, both of us, like we have these things need to be done this week or by this deadline, but like the time of the day or the day that it gets done is pretty irrelevant, and that means that we can very much so work our like we can fit what work we have to do around like our wider life, what we want to do. If we want to on a Wednesday take the whole day off and go on an adventure, we can. And then we just have to figure out when to do that. Or if we want to work in the morning, we want to work in the evening, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like you can get around working for a company as long as they're like pretty flexible. Like you can, like obviously working for an employer, like some are quite flexible and you can kind of like work around them, but obviously generally speaking you are like fixed hours, right? And like even like obviously Asia's not great, but like say Australia and New Zealand, like you're literally 13 hours different
there's no way.
New Zealand, so like that isn't something that's possible. And I think
you're
that's
literally
just
doing like a night shift like a doctor.
Yeah, something you really have to factor in. And yeah, like Shireen said, there are part-time jobs, but like generally most are remote. And I guess like all the benefits that you get of being employed, so like for instance in like the UK and Ireland, like holiday pay and sick leave and that kind of stuff, like obviously you're entitled to it, but I don't think, like for me personally, working for an employer to get 4 weeks holiday makes sense while I'm traveling. Like 4 weeks holiday isn't enough. Trust me, I tried it last year and it didn't work out for me.
Yeah, no, honestly, I agree. Like I think like obviously, like I said, like I think it very much depends on the lifestyle that you want to have, right? Like if you just want to like relocate to different like places, like say for example you come to Chicago for a month or 2 months, you go to wherever for like months at a time, and that's very, very different versus like if you are wanting to not necessarily to go to the extreme of backpacking, but like as in like moving around every few days. But if you're somewhere in that middle ground, I think full like working for an employer becomes quite difficult.
Yeah, I mean, even look at you now. Like you've been living in Sharjah for however long you've been there, because time is running away with me, so I actually have no idea.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. See, this is what I mean. Like time is just going too quickly. I don't like it. Like you got there yesterday.
It's officially as of this weekend, it'll officially be the longest I've ever stayed anywhere in 4 years.
Wow, that's crazy. But that like even like you have been somewhere, but for you, like you're still like no, I want the freedom to be able to work when I want to be able to work, you know?
Yeah, completely. And like I guess the times and like all like when I'm working and like things like that like are like super, super important to me.
Yeah. Create the life you want to live.
Exactly. And I mean, I feel like that's like if you're gonna make the effort to figure out how to work online so you can travel, do it the right way. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna put the effort into doing it for this lifestyle, the last thing you want to do is then end up creating a lifestyle that doesn't, or like creating an environment that doesn't suit the lifestyle. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because otherwise like you're still gonna have to create that in the future, you know?
Yeah. No, completely. I think another thing, just because somebody basically just asked me for advice on it yesterday, and thought it would be a good one to talk about because it's actually one that we've gotten horribly wrong. Somebody basically was saying to me they are just currently in the process of like setting up working online, right? Because they want to continue traveling, but they basically were like, "What is your like advice for changing your mindset from I'm just traveling to I'm working on traveling?" And obviously, if you've listened
Do
to
I
this
need to change
podcast,
my mindset?
well, obviously, if you've been listening to this podcast, you'll know that that's something that we have struggled with basically the entire time because we don't change, or we haven't until recently changed our mindset and just basically burnt ourselves out every time instead.
Yeah, man.
So if you take it as what our mistakes were, what advice would you give to people so that they don't repeatedly burn themselves out and have to take a whole year back home in the UK, Abby?
Well, I would say, like, obviously there's so many benefits of this lifestyle, but the thing you've got to understand is that like it is going to be trickier to make friends, in the sense of if you're wanting to like backpack still and travel around and move around rather than set yourself up somewhere, you're going to end up staying in places longer than everybody else. So as long as you're happy to like be constantly meeting new people all the time and understand that you might have this like great relationship with people in one place and potentially not see them again, then like fab. But otherwise, like if like community is something that's like big for you, or like actually making mates that you can kind of stay with, then perhaps like setting yourself up somewhere for like a couple of weeks is the better option. Because like if, I don't know, say like the classic thing to do is spend 3 days in this like one town. I mean, to be honest, you might fall in love with it anyway and want to stay longer, like me and Shireen did in Candy, where most people stay 1 day and we stayed 5. But so obviously that can happen anyway. But I feel like you're going to probably have to double it if you're working too, because like say you're working part-time, say you're working like half a working week, like you're going to need half that week to work, right? So that only gives you half the week to do the actual travel aspect. And that's something me and Shireen have never been very good at, and we've always fit the work around the travel. Although I have to say, like, we'll be quite good in some regards. Like, we'll be like, okay, like, we need to like stop and do this, or like add an extra day here because we need to do whatever. Like, we do that. But I would say our Middle East trip perhaps was a good example, that we had like a week where we didn't really allot any time for working, and we were trying to do 3 full days at the F1, plus also we had quite a bit of work on,
And also
so
explored
basically,
Qatar.
and also explore Qatar. We were basically acting like we had 48 hours in our every 24 hours, and we essentially didn't sleep for like 4 days, which I really don't recommend. So like realistically, what we should have done there is gone to Qatar for like a full week, been able to work for a few days, and then actually enjoy the F1.
Yes, but obviously we didn't do that. As I said, this is very much something that we've not ever been very good at, rather than are.
No.
And obviously, this is something that is like a huge thing for me this year to like get a lot better at, and to travel less, and to you know, chill the fuck out a lot more, and not end up completely burning myself out because I have just done that time and time again. And as Abby mentioned, and again, I've talked about this quite a bit before, but like that whole thing of like friendships and community. Like I love traveling, and like I love seeing new places and all that kind of stuff. But in like kind of the last number of months, the community aspects has become more and more important to me. And like ultimately it's like into like my 4th year of doing this, and like at some point communities do start to become really important. And I think like everybody that I've spoken to, there are like so many of my friends that like started out as like solo travelers are now very much so like at home, or sorry, in specific places based around where their community is. They like barely ever solo travel anymore because they're like, I just want to travel with my mates. And I do think that does become more and more important. As great as solo traveling is, like the continually doing it, they definitely become quite lonely, especially when you're adding work on top of that as well.
Yeah, and I felt like it was great when it was the two of us together because we had the two of us together. But
Yeah,
obviously, then when
obviously.
you're doing it separately, like when people always ask me about solo travel, I always say like the only thing that I do genuinely like not like about it is the fact you have no one to share it with. And obviously, you meet people along the way, but like
It's not the
you
same.
then go home or go wherever and you're like sharing stories, and it's like nobody's gonna ever quite get it. Whereas
Completely.
like obviously if you've done things with people, you have people that can relate to it. And that's like the difference. And I think that's the thing that's like quite nice about us is that yeah, okay, we've done lots of travel separate, but we've pretty much been to like quite a lot of the same locations. So like
Yeah.
therefore, even if one of us is there and the other isn't, we can still kind of relate to it.
Yeah. And like definitely not saying that I'm like hanging off the solo travel like thing at all, but I definitely think like I will be doing it less and less.
mm,
Like don't get me wrong, if somewhere I really, really want to go, I will always choose to go alone over
yeah,
not going at all. But like kind of similar to you, like this year, like one of your things is that you want to like your trips that you're going on is very much based off like being able to go with people or on their
yeah,
trips and like that kind of thing. Kind of similar, like if I know people are going to certain places, then I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'll come. Versus like kind of setting out off for months and months on my own. I just don't think that's
yeah,
in my future any longer, you know?
yeah. Which is so fair, right? Because it kind of gets
Yeah.
to the point where like it's kind of like, what's the purpose of this? Like, obviously, it is nice. It's amazing to be able to go and see all these cool places, but like as humans, we need social interaction, and you're not necessarily getting that. And
No,
obviously, depending
completely.
on like the locations you're in, and like if there are co-working spaces and all that kind of stuff, also depend that dictates like ages and stuff of travelers or like the types of travelers. And that also can make it difficult too. So yeah, I think community is so important.
Yeah. No, completely. And I think it only becomes more important when you are trying to work and travel because
Yeah.
you are like your time, not time zone, you're like I don't know what's like the time that you're in each place and all that kind of stuff just naturally has to change so much. I think it just becomes more and more important.
But also I think the big difference as well is that like that is actually your life. Like most people when they go traveling, they're going traveling for a fixed time period. It's like I'm traveling in Asia for X number of months and then I'm moving to Australia. I'm like taking a sabbatical for X number of months and then I'm going home to work. Like that's not really, or there's very few people that set out just backpacking and are like, oh, I'm just gonna like go and see how long it takes, or like if they do it, so I'm gonna go and see how long it takes till I run out of money vibes. Whereas
Yeah.
like because this is actually like our real world, right? There has to be that like sense of normality and the sense of community because otherwise it is just really, really, really lonely.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And the other thing as well that I personally have found in the last like number of months is like I'm very done with hostels. Like,
Interesting.
yeah. So, but like, I'm not done with hostels. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I think it's like because, like, especially if I'm staying in places for longer, I don't want to be living
Yeah,
in a hostel,
100%. Oh,
right?
100%. 100%.
So, yeah, like for sure, like if I was like, okay, I'm going here for 2 weeks or a month or whatever, and like traveling around, I would stay in hostels. But I think again, like when you're kind of staying in places for longer, like I don't want to be in a hostel dorm for 2 weeks, do you
No,
know?
no.
But again, if we like loop that back around to the whole community aspect, then again, like if you're, for example, not in a hostel, not going to a co-working space, it can again become really, really hard to like build that community out, which is why like where you go as a digital nomad is really, really important.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the things that I hate the most about like the scuba diving world is that like all the best places in the world to scuba dive are quite remote, so you don't get the nomad community, which is why I've had to learn how to surf because all
Yeah.
the surf spots is where you get the nomads. Do you know? So now I've had no choice. I have to learn how to surf, and here we are. Like, do you know what I mean? But like a lot of
Surely
nomad
though,
communities,
like what, at least one of the diving spots must have a nomad community.
not really, or at least not any that I have found that aren't anyway decent.
That's
Because like,
madness.
well, because the thing is that like the best diving is done very very remotely. Like, because
Yeah.
it like you need to be as far away from humans that are destroying the reef
Yeah.
as possible for the best diving to come in.
Yeah.
So you just don't get that like nomad community side of it as much because they're less accessible. You're only going to kind of have divers there, whereas like say on Chargahau, you're going to have nomads whether they surf or not, and the services are generally a lot worse. So like your internet, all that kind of stuff, it's not as stable to
Yeah.
stay. Like
Valid. Yeah, valid.
Malagasy, for example, one of my favorite islands in the world, in the Philippines, incredible diving, shit services. So, like, I'll go
Fair.
there for a week and have the best time, but I physically can't stay longer than a week if I need to do any sort. Like, I couldn't record the podcast there. Remember, we tried, and there was a blackout halfway
Okay.
through.
Yeah.
That kind of energy.
Yeah.
So I think that's like so that's that's why I've had to learn how to surf. But like don't get me wrong, like you do have like you can technically dive here, but like it's shit. I'm talking about like good diving.
Yeah.
I actually think Egypt is one of the spots where there is like a decent nomad community around the diving. But also I won't go back there, so it doesn't really matter.
Egypt.
Yeah. Like
Really? Even with the whole VPN thing.
Yeah. Like Dahab is like a pretty big nomad community. Like I know a lot. Like I know quite a lot of people that are currently out there for months at a time. Yeah, it's quite a big nomad community. But no, thank you. I don't want to go back to Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't really know where that point was going. But basically, if more scuba divers find like little hubs, that would be great. I'd be very happy.
Maybe you should just like find a group of scuba divers and you can all move somewhere together.
Yeah, that would be great. They're actually somebody followed me on Instagram that they're trying to create. It was like it was called like the diving nomads or something like that. I'd have to look at it. But like their idea is exactly what I've just said. Like because you don't have the crossover of scuba diving and nomads to basically create it, and so they're doing like month long like co-living and stuff, in places where you can dive and work.
Fab.
So potentially, maybe one of those is in my future. Who knows?
Amazing.
But yeah, what else? Anything else I'm working online? Nomadism.
There was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was. So it's going. It's not obviously not important,
Okay.
I think the big thing is I think one last thing to close. Like the big thing is like everyone thinks this world is like all rainbows and sunshines, and it can be, but it's also work. And I think that's the bit that people tend to forget. It's like they like glorify this idea of what we're doing, and it really isn't for everyone. Like I stopped doing it because I genuinely thought it wasn't for me, but it really is. But it is just hard work, and you have to be willing to like spend the time getting it set up. And like that's also kind of why I'm in the UK right now.
Yeah, sorry, because that was another thing like that. Like I wanted to say, like on that same conversation that I was having yesterday, was like that. Like again, is always one of the biggest things that we both say is that if you're starting from scratch, it's not that you have to go home, but you need to stay in one location. You simply cannot like start working, get yourself set up effectively, and be moving around every few days. Like there's one thing to do it when you're already set up, just working with continuous clients, but to get yourself set up and moving around, you like it just like if you really are serious about making it a success, pick somewhere, go for a month plus, but realistically you're going to need like 3 or 4 months to like fully get yourself set up, fully get things going, and then you can start traveling again. If that is to go home, fine, but it doesn't have to be. Like, you could come to Shargai, for example, or come to like another nomad community and just like base yourself there for a couple of months. But like, you do have to do that.
And I think two points on that as well is like, one, like that is so real. Like I basically have had to extend how long I have to be in the UK for because I traveled for like the whole of March, so I wasn't able to like progress any further with said business. And then the other thing is as well is like no matter where you stop to set yourself up, I know it's easier said than done, but do not compare yourself to the people around you because you're on your own journey and it's going to take you however long it's going to take you, but you're setting it up in the way you want it to be set up. And that's the thing, is that like other people might have set up quicker, but they're happy to do different things or whatever it might be. So like it is going to take you however long it's going to take you, but you're setting it up exactly how you want to run your business, and that's the thing that's like really, really important. And so please do not compare yourself to the people around you, because everyone's on different journeys.
Completely. However, what I will say on that is that what you will find, and so many people have said this to me and I completely agree, is that within the digital nomad community, no matter what it is that you want to do, no matter what your idea is, no matter how crazy it sounds in your head to all of your family and friends back home, that everybody in the nomad community will be like, brilliant, go do it. You got this, you can do it. People are like, it's one of the most supportive communities. And people in this community are living outside of the box, like, right? Outside of the norm. And like no idea is too far-fetched. No matter what it is that you want to do, people will just say, yeah, that's great. Just go do it. Go figure it out. You will figure it out and you can get it done. And that mindset is also, as much as like there's obviously the comparing side of it, on the other hand, like it's one of the most supportive communities I've ever been part of. And like I love that side of it.
Yeah. And I guess like to caveat that, like it's because obviously everybody is living outside of the box. So everybody is doing something that the rest of the world is still trying to tell them isn't a thing that can be done. And so therefore, like, obviously everybody's going to support you because like it is the future of work, in my humble opinion. It is the future. But people haven't quite caught up to that yet. And like bear that in mind as well with like friends from home and stuff that are like living the very nuclear life. Like what you're doing is cool and you're creating exactly the life you want to live, so you just got to keep pushing. And yeah, that is the big thing, because there'll be people around you that will always say to you, oh, I wish I could do that. And it's like, well, you could do it, you're just actively choosing not to.
So if it's what you want to do, get your head down, fucking work hard, but whatever it is, like you can absolutely make it work. Just gotta put the effort in. You got this. Mic drop. Feel like that's like a good note to end on.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I feel like that's kind of covered off everything in very much so the Shireen and Abby way. But obviously, if you've got any questions about working online or just want any advice or anything like that, just reach out to us. Obviously, we've got a new Instagram, so that is linked below. And yeah, obviously, more than happy to chat through whatever. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. And if nothing else, just encourages you that if this is what you want to do, you absolutely can, and you will figure it out. Alrighty, well on that note, let's wrap up this episode. Thank you all so much for watching or listening. Oh yeah, I can't be watching now. For watching or listening, however you're doing this, to us babble on about working online, nomad life, all that good stuff. Please like, subscribe, leave us a little comment if you're on YouTube, and we will see you on the next one.
See you on the next one, can't wait.
Bye.
Bye.